Hey there, I thought I'd give you a little tour of our play fort that we built for our kids. We borrowed these plans, this A-frame tilt-up design that opens out, and kind of just modified it ourselves. Ours is a little different. Ours was originally a swing set. So I built my kids a swing set when they were little, and then I just used 4x4s for the diagonals here, and then used 4x4 across the top as well. And it was a swing set. So kids stopped using the swing set, and I decided maybe we can basically side our swing set and turn it into this A-frame kind of design. So I'll give you a walk around the outside here. The floor is just gravel, but they just lay down their blankets, and we just found a bunch of blankets out of the closet. So the end of it is just your typical A-frame. We found this door at the resource store. And then it has a little hatch up here that can open in the summer because it gets pretty warm, and that lets some cross flow air. It's all screened off there. Along the back we just used some metal, some Delta rib metal. It was about the sturdiest and cheapest way we could find to side this. Besides using OSB and painting it, we thought we'd just pay a little bit more. Put a ridge beam on there. This side is also just has a little tip-up window we bought at the salvage store. Put a little string on it on hinges, so you can hinge it up there and close the window down. So then the front piece is just this plexi material, and just built this frame. Used full 2x4s. It's kind of heavy, not too bad. And then on the corners here, just used some pivots and put a little bolt through there so that it would pivot off there. And then down at the bottom there's just these pins that go through to the other side, and you can just knock these blocks off, tilt them back up, and the whole thing shuts back down again. Same with this side, does that. You can see the inside here. We just used OSB on the ends and painted the non-wax side. It's got a solar panel, and then it's got a little solar system on it, charger, a couple batteries that I had laying around, and then we just hooked it up to one of these 12-volt LED strips that my kids had in their room anyways, and then just hooked it up around there, and then that just runs the LEDs, and then just have one of these remotes. You can get these things pretty cheaply, and just runs the lights. So you can have lights at night, puts out enough light that it lights it up pretty well when it's really dark out. And they can just change it with the remote. And then they just keep their Legos in here, and they can come out here. In the summer it gets pretty hot, so we just keep the front open, and then it's a nice shady spot to be. In the winter and the fall, it obviously is a little colder out here, and we can just close the front. And then this whole side is the south side, and the sun comes through there, and you get pretty good heat gain if it's a reasonably sunny day out. So in the afternoon you can come out here. Acts pretty much like a greenhouse, will warm up pretty well. But it took some engineering, took some work, and some time to kind of figure out how to get the hinges and the pivot and all that sort of stuff. The top right now, the extra, is just that OSB. And then for the actual pivot point on that, I just used a piece of rubber to kind of cover that, weatherproof that hinge point. The rubber that I ended up using, I found at the resource store, it was actually lawn edging. It was about 6-inch tall lawn edging that was in a tube. So I just cut one side, opened it up. It's about 12 inches wide when you do that. It's not the best rubber. It started to curl a little in the summer heat. But I just kind of tacked it up there with some screws, and it seems to so far. Maybe in a year or so I'll have to kind of come up with another plan. But for the most part, pretty bug proof. It's been in some rainstorms and hasn't leaked at all. So didn't have to build a floor. Floor was kind of expensive. It did make it a little tougher just getting it square and getting it level. It didn't necessarily come out perfectly square and level, just because doing it on the gravel like that, it was hard to keep it nice and square while we were building, but it came out pretty close. So there you go. All right, here it is with the front end closed there. It's got a little handle down at the bottom, so it helps make it easier to lift that up. It does take 3 people. You have to lift that up and then have people manning each of those arms. So as they swing back into the house, then you just pivot those arms up, and then we have little tie downs that we just tie those arms up to. We were just a little worried with the kids out here and wind or anything like that. If we just used something to prop them up, if it fell and that door slammed down, it was going to hurt somebody. So we like having it so that it just bolts into the frame itself and is locked really secure, that nobody can bump it and knock that whole door down. But yeah, we just want to give a thanks to Deke over at RelaxShacks for the idea and helping us get a handle on what we were trying to do. So hope you enjoy.